Yuki Tsumugi, a fabric produced using the most traditional method of silk weaving. Its technique is still being preserved to this day in Japan. Every single thread to be used is soft and non-twisted. Each thread is delicately spun from silk floss by hand. It then undergoes the tedious process of tying tens of thousands of spots according to the design. And finally, it produces a design with a technique which Japan proudly recognizes as unsurpassed. Every step of the production of Yuki Tsumugi is carried out by hand. It is a form of Japanese art hidden inside its simplicity, an elegant design. Yuki Tsumugi represents the beauty of Japan itself. Yuki Tsumugi is a product of an area that extends 20 kilometers along the Kinu River, which runs through Ibaraki and Tochigi prefectures. The name originates from Yuki City of Ibaraki Prefecture. It once upon a time was a castle town of the Yuki family, which flourished as the center of economic prosperity of this region. The ancestors of sericulture are enshrined at the Okuwa Shrine of Komori District in Yuki City. For a long time, people working with Yuki Tsumugi have shown strong devotion to the shrine. During the annual festival held in spring, they dedicate kagura, Shinto ritual dance and music. During the 6th century, Ashiginu, the origin of Yuki Tsumugi, was presented to the imperial court as silk cloth of high quality. Today, it is still being preserved at Shosoin, the imperial storehouse of ancient times in Nara. Later on, it was favored by samurai as textile for their kimono. In the 17th century, it became known throughout Japan as Yuki Tsumugi. Eventually, it became popular among tradesmen and artisans in kimono and established its reputation. Toward the end of the 19th century, the method of weaving splash patterns kasuri prevailed, and they were produced in mass quantities. However, when Western clothes were becoming standard, Yuki Tsumugi was favored as high-class fashion kimono. Now we will introduce the process of Yuki Tsumugi production. First, remove cocoons of poor quality. Boil remaining cocoons in a vat with baking soda for 2 hours to remove the scum. This is called mayuni. In a tub with lukewarm water, she softens the cocoons and expands it into a sack-like form by hand. After that, make it dry in the shade to make a silk floss. This process is mawatakake. Spin a silk floss. This process is called itotsumugi. Normally at this stage, the thread is twisted for reinforcement. However, in Yuki Tsumugi, the thread is spun without twisting. This is called munenshi, and this type of thread is not found anywhere else in the world. This gives Yuki Tsumugi its distinctive style and softness. It takes 2 to 3 months to spin the amount of thread necessary to make one cloth. The main feature of Yuki Tsumugi is using the diligently spun thread for both horizontal and vertical way. Wrap the thread around the board and set the number and the length required to weave one roll. Then separate into upper and lower thread. This process is called seikei. Next, conduct kasuri kubiri onto the thread to make a pattern. First, set the thread onto a frame and draw splash patterns using Japanese ink according to the design. Kasuri kubiri is a process which prevents a tied-up area from soaking up the dye. The patterns of Yuki Tsumugi was simple in the past. However, Kasuri kubiri requires a more precise process as the designs are diversified into stripes and splashed patterns. Bind the kasuri-tied threads around the end of a pole. Beat it on a platform with the dye to make the color penetrate. This process is called tatakizome. This dyeing method is unique to Yuki Tsumugi. There are many steps taken before it can be set on the loom. Finally, Yuki Tsumugi is woven using the most primitive loom called jibata. Another name for it is izaribata. The mechanism of the loom remains the same for 1,500 years. The weaving takes much time and labor. The weaver releases the right amount of tension to create a light, warm, and durable fabric, a texture specific to Yuki Tsumugi. It takes a month for even an experienced artisan to weave a roll of cloth. It may take over 1 year for high-quality products with complicated designs. Only when you slip your arm through and feel the fabric on your skin can you fully understand its magnificence. The completed product is surprisingly light yet warm. The more it is worn, the better fit it becomes. The kimono is durable and can be worn across 3 generations. Yuki Tsumugi has been recognized for its artistry. In 1956, it was designated as important intangible cultural property by the government. The skillful handiwork, endurance, and the subtle sensibility of heart ask the Japanese. Furthermore, the sense of beauty, genetically inherited in our ethnicity. The sophisticated technique justifies it all. The artisans spare no labor in every step of the process. It is indeed a product made with every effort. The fabric woven with loving care. That is Yuki Tsumugi.